my channel. You know the drill. For every 3 character breakdowns, we have a random video, usually on a writing topic. This week we have OTPs that never were, but I still ship them. Fair warning, the further down the list we get, the more agitated I'm going to get, because some of these pairings I waited a long time to have, fulfillment on, and it never happened. So, yeah. But we all have those pairings, the ones we ship with all our hearts, but the powers that be, otherwise known as the creators, the writers, the people in charge of the pairing, decide to throw those pairings under the bus, off a cliff, into a shredder, whatever they feel works best to destroy our lives. And yes, I know most writers or show creators aren't like that, but I've been around this party long enough to know, intentional or not, it sucks monkey farts. If anyone doesn't know what OTPs stand for, where have you been for the last, 7 months? But OTP stands for one true pairing. It is the pairing you ship above all else. And there are some that I ship that just weren't meant to be. They were, they weren't, the main focus. They weren't what was intended, but they're still what I see, what I love, what I ship hardest. Like the last writing post where it was about pairings I didn't intend to create, we're going to go from the ones that I can tolerate not getting down to the ones that I will forever hate the writers for not handing over, even when it was bluntly obvious that it was there. We have 18 this time, so sit tight. Number 18 is Riza Hawkeye and Roy Mustang Full Metal Alchemist, both versions. Okay, if you're an anime fan, chances are you've heard of FMA. And if you haven't, go to Netflix or Hulu, we'll wait. For those of you that have seen and or heard of it, you know the characters Hawkeye and Mustang are connected. He learned alchemy from her father. She saves his ass on a very regular basis. And the chemistry between the two of them is palpable whenever they're in a room together. It's just, they don't even have to be in a room together. All they have to do is mention the other one, and it's just like, there. But there were 2 adaptations of the show. There's Full Metal Alchemist, and then there's Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Brotherhood is my preferred version. It's most people's preferred version. It's much more in-depth, but in neither one do they end up together. In Brotherhood, she continues working for him, and with him and everything, but in the original, he leaves. he leaves, and no. I have adjusted to the fact that we didn't get to see them together, but like with all these pairings, I am very unhappy with the outcome. Number 17, Danny Reagan and Jackie Caratola. I can't pronounce Jackie's last name, I swear. Blue Bloods. I'm all for falling for your partner, especially when he's Donnie Wahlberg. And the hints and subtle indications that Jackie was falling for him and he was falling for her, married or not, were all over the place. When Jackie left the show, I was heartbroken. I understand that there was more going on behind the scenes with the actress and the showrunners, but at the same time, it hurt, and my little shipper heart still hasn't bounced back. Number 16, and this is a controversial one, but so are most of them, but that's just me. So number 16 is Leroy Jethro Gibbs and Abigail Shuto from NCIS. Most people see this as a father-daughter relationship. Fine. If that's how you see it, that's how you see it. That is not how I see it. My aunt and I are of the same opinion in this. The bond between the two of them, their bond when it comes to speaking to each other in sign language, and the fact that we do not get subtitles for it, okay? I actually hurt my neck doing that. The fact that we don't get subtitles for half of what they say, no, for any of what they say, when they talk sign, it just, it feels like there's more going on than what we're being told. And of course, much like our last pairing, Abby has since left the show, and now we're left to flounder and read or write fan fictions to soothe our hearts. Number 15 is Sansa Stark and Tyrion Lannister, Game of Thrones. I honestly think my supporting of this pairing is the fact that I love Tyrion so much, and Sansa has definitely grown on me over the series. But just the way he is with her, how he tries to protect her and let her know that she has an ally in him, and the fact that even drunk on their wedding night, he did not take advantage of her, just tells you what kind of man he is. And it's not what anyone else seems to think he is. He is a good person, and he shows that to her. And if we don't get at least one more scene between those two before the show is over, I'm going to be very cheesed off. Number 14, Arya Stark and Gendry Baratheon, Game of Thrones. Don't argue with me over his last name. He's a Baratheon. It's kind of like Sansa and Tyrion. I mean, it was just so short-lived, but so adorable when it did exist, and just the way they were with each other, the bond and the wit and the banter. And I honestly wanted to throw my laptop when the Brotherhood Without Banners sent Gendry with Melisandre. I didn't, of course, but the urge was there. And it's just like Sansa and Tyrion. If I don't get at least one more scene with them before the show's over, I'm going to be remarkably unhappy. Number 13, another controversial pairing, and that is Horatio Caine and Callie Duquesne from CSI Miami. If you watch the first 3 seasons of the show, mainly the first 2 seasons, and are still questioning this pairing, I've got nothing for you. Honestly, I can't think of anything else to support them other than go watch those episodes, especially the first 2 seasons, because after that the writers, destroyed dreams and broke hearts, and the way that they just were with each other was just, it was adorable. You're going to find that that's how I describe a lot of these pairings, as utterly adorable, but that's okay because I like adorable. Number 12 is where I get a little hot under the collar, and it is Clint Barton and Natasha Romanoff, Marvel Cinematic Universe. Joss Whedon, I would like to kill you. Okay, I'm looking right at you, Joss. Joss, I want to kill you. Age of Ultron, while it was a good movie, shattered one of the best pairings, not just in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but in the Marvel Comics universe as well. My favorite characters growing up were Hawkeye and Black Widow, because Hawk, like me, had hearing problems, and he could shoot a bow and arrow, which is something I always wanted to try. And Widow, because she's a badass and proved that just because you're a girl doesn't mean you have to be dainty or girly or even good. She was a bad guy before she worked with the good guys, so it's one of the things I love about her. And their relationship, while not the healthiest, was still so awesome. And to watch Joss destroy it like that, it just... yeah. Number 11 is Lucy Pevensey and Caspian X, King of Narnia from Chronicles of Narnia. When Caspian first shows up in Prince Caspian, I will admit I shipped him with Susan, just because they were cute. But in Voyage of the Dawn Treader, there was so much more of a bond between him and Lucy than there ever was between him and Susan. And I know bigger age gap, and I know in the books they don't end up together, like, at all, but I found them so cute together, and I really think if she'd been allowed to stay in Narnia, I mean, obviously I know she couldn't stay in Narnia, but if she had been allowed to stay in Narnia, I think it could have been something really great between the two of them. Number 10, Harry Potter and Luna Lovegood, the Harry Potter series. I love Ginny. I do. She's one of my favorite characters. In the books, at least. Not so much in the movies. But I love Ginny. She's awesome. I just happen to like Harry with Luna more. Something about the way they are together and how they care for each other, how understanding they are of each other. It feels more right to me than Harry and Ginny. I wish JK had gone that route instead of putting him with Ginny. And I'm not gonna lie, when it comes to my fanfiction writings, not just for Heidi, but all of my fanfiction writings for Harry, he's with Luna. It's my preferred pairing, and I'm not sorry for that. Number 9, this is another hot under the collar one, is Hermione Granger and George Weasley, again, the Harry Potter series. When the writer admits to not caring for a pairing that they came up with, you know it's okay to hate it. I can't stand Hermione and Ron together. I had a friend like Ron for the first 10 years I was in school. So preschool to 8th grade, I had a friend who treated me like Ron treated Hermione. Was constantly teasing and making fun of and making me feel bad. And while towards the end of our schooling together, we were friends of a sort, I could never have dated him. And the idea that Hermione had to go through all of that with Ron and then she ended up married to him, it just never sat right with me. Gonna be honest, I would put her with either one of the twins. But seeing as how I put Fred with Heidi, I put Hermione with George more often than not. There's just something about the way the twins were with Hermione, not only because they were older, but because they seemed to respect the way she was in their own way, and they did tease her from time to time, but none of it was ever cruel, and they seemed to understand her almost like she did with them, and you definitely cannot say that with her and Ron. I don't like Ron. Number 8, Merlin and Morgana Pendragon, BBC's Merlin. Go watch the second to last episode of Series 2 and then come back and talk to me about this pairing. The heartbreak in Merlin's eyes, the utter betrayal in Morgana's. I am still picking up pieces of my heart. And before that, they were just so adorable together. The way they played off of one another and how he tried to protect her, and it just, I love them together so much. And yeah, when she gets back, she ends up hating Merlin, but you can still see the lingering feelings. And at the end of it all, when it comes down to their final meeting, my feels were everywhere. Number 7 is the flip side of that Pendragon coin, Merlin and Arthur Pendragon from BBC's Merlin. If you can make it through all 5 series of Merlin and still tell me that there's nothing between Arthur and Merlin, I tip my hat to you, and the straitjacket's that way. Because clearly you've lost your ever-loving mind. Yes, it can be seen as a bromance. I will admit that. And in the beginning, that's kind of what it was. But by the end, that is definitely way more than king and manservant. I'm sorry, it just is. Number 6 is Sherlock Holmes and John Watson, BBC's Sherlock, or really any adaptation of Sherlock. But I just happen to like Benedict and Martin the most. And honestly, just go watch the show. Seriously. I mean, you have plenty of time, because if there are any more episodes, we've got at least another decade to wait before we get it. They say they're best friends and all that, but that is way more than any best friends. I mean, just go watch the show and you'll understand why I support that pairing so much. Number 5 is also from BBC Sherlock, and it is Mycroft Holmes and Gregory Lestrade. I think we see them together like twice in the 4 series, but they're adorable to picture. They're just so adorable to picture. And you know Greg informed to Mycroft on Sherlock when he first started working with him, so you know they had some kind of relationship, and it doesn't take much to stretch it into being something absolutely awesomely adorable. Look, this is one of those ships that I will go down with, burning in flames, but I will go down with it. Number 4 is Keely and Tariel, the Hobbit series. No, she didn't exist in the book. No, he didn't get shot with a Morgul arrow in the book. But it's there. It's the creation of Peter Jackson's mind, but it's there, and I will die breathing life into this pairing, but it's just because it's just so cute. And I'm sorry, if you have a problem with dwarves and elves together, but you still... If you're able to watch Lord of the Rings and love Gimli and Legolas, then you can watch The Hobbit and love Keely and Tariel, okay? It's on the same borderline with each other. Number 3, also from the Hobbit series, is Bilbo Baggins and Thorin Oakenshield. This is one of those pairings where if I need to explain it, I'm just gonna curl up in a ball and sob. So go watch the movies and leave my broken heart alone, okay? Just go away. Number 2 is Stiles Stilinski and Derek Hale, Teen Wolf. My sister is the reason I like this pairing. She's the reason I like a lot of my LGBTQ pairings. It started with Malik in the Shadowhunter Chronicles and just kind of spiraled. But Starrick will always be the one I hardcore live and die for. And if you can watch the show and not see the attraction between them, see the bond and the feelings and the everything, then I don't know what to say, because that is all I see when I look at them. It's just Yes, I mean, Jeff Davis, we need to have a talk, because Steric is real, Steric is powerful, and the show has been off the air now for like 2 years, I think, and I'm still, in my heart of hearts, a hardcore Steric shipper, and I always will be, so just deal with it. And number one, and quite possibly the most irritating, never got it, die for it pairing is Jack O'Neill and Samantha Carter, the Stargate TV franchise. 10 seasons of SG-1, 5 seasons of Atlantis, 2 seasons of Universe, and 2 goddamn movies. And did we ever get confirmation of this pairing? No, we didn't, because I don't know why. These two are literally the main talked about, don't talk about it pairing in the history of Stargate, and we never got a straight answer on their relationship. We got little hints here and there. We got a not really out of Sam in season 9 when she was asked if she was single, to which we were all like, what does that mean? And it was... I will never get over this. People have tried. I set that bitch on fire. And they are my eternal ship. I will never stop loving Sam and Jack. I will love them until the day I die, and probably even afterwards. They're precious. They're amazing. They're my hardcore ride or die. If I had to give up every pairing and only pick one to like for the rest of my life, they would be it. And don't touch me, I need a hug. Give me a moment. Okay. I'm okay. I'm not okay, but I'm okay. So that's my list of OTPs I ship with all my heart and was never given satisfaction over. A couple of them still have hope, but the Stargate franchise kind of beat hope out of me, as you can tell by that ending bit there. They gave us plenty of time, we had plenty of time, and they never gave us anything, so I try not to hope anymore, because, you know, it just, it doesn't get you anywhere. Anyway, I live for fanfiction now for most, if not all of these pairings. Maybe later down the line, I'll do another post of OTPs that we were actually given. It'll be a cheerier post, that's for sure. So let me know down in the comments below if you like this list. Who are your OTPs, that you were never given satisfaction over? Let me know if you want me to do the list of ones we were actually given. I honestly think I'm going to. Of my list, which one do you like the most? Which one frustrates you the most? If there are any Stargate shippers out there, let me know. Because I will never, no. Okay. As always, all of my social media handles will be down in the description below, along with my blog if you want to read the post that goes along with this video. Don't forget to hit the like button if you did enjoy this video, along with the subscribe button and the little bell to turn on notifications. Make sure all your notifications are turned on so you get one every time I upload a video. And I will see you guys next week with another character breakdown. Bye!